to another one of these videos. My name is Roman. So as always with these explanation videos, I like to break them down into segments so you can kind of skip to the place that you want to go to without all the chaff, so to speak, so you can just skip straight to the bit that you actually want to see. But in my opinion, all the advice that I'm going to give in this video is pretty solid, so I think you should stick around for all of it. Before I jump into any of this, please make sure you've liked the video and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it's completely free and you can always change your mind later. The first segment of this video is why you're probably pre-ordering in the first place. The second segment of this video is why I think you should hold off, at least for now. The third is a bit of a weird one, but I think it needs to be said in all general situations. It's just the art of being patient. And finally, the conclusion and wrapping things up and what you should do based on your situation and giving the best advice I can for you guys. Okay, so on to the first point here. Why you're probably buying the game in the first place is reasons ranging from you want the newest COD or you're expecting something different from this game. Both are perfectly valid reasons, but this really depends on what you're expecting coming out of this game. It could also just be fear of missing out, because I completely understand that. Your friends buy the game, your friends start playing the game, and then there's you. You're left there with MW2 with nobody playing it. If that third one actually applies to you, you're kind of in a perfect situation, I can't lie. You're actually in the position to ask your friends if you can watch them play the game before you buy it. Another massive reason why you want to pre-order the game is probably because you want to play the beta that comes out on the 12th or is out literally right now if you're playing on PlayStation. I'd like to state now that I'm not knocking any of these reasons because they're perfectly good reasons to pre-order a game. But for a game so notorious as Call of Duty, I really think you should hold off, and this rolls me on to the next segment here. These are the reasons why I think you should hold off purchasing the new COD game. If you're pre-ordering the game for the beta, please don't. We already know and have seen multiplayer gameplay, and Zombies is not included in this beta. If you want the exact same gameplay as MW2 just with slide cancelling, go ahead and pre-order the game, but if you're expecting something literally anything else, you're going to be severely disappointed with your purchase. This year, they've directly decided to take the approach of using nostalgia, with them remastering MP maps such as Afghan, Derail, Estate, Favela, Karachi, High Rise, Invasion, and Quarry. A number of these we have never seen since the glory days of Call of Duty, and that is why they're playing on your instinct. If you watched COD Next, a lot of people said they felt like they were playing the OG MW3 back in the day. I can almost guarantee you this is not the same experience you are going to have. Yes, I will admit, remastering old maps is cool. It's what kept COD Zombies alive for one of the longest times with Zombies Chronicles. But making it the flagship reason why people should buy your game and pre-order it and play this beta with all these maps included just doesn't sit right with me. The reason why Zombies Chronicles was so favored in the community and why it was so outright perfect was because it was an optional DLC instead of being bundled with the game as a selling point. They bring it out of nowhere and charged a DLC price tag instead of a full game price tag. That very nicely brings me on to my next point here. The game was originally meant to be a DLC for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It would have continued on Modern Warfare 2 and acted kind of like an update instead of bringing out a whole new game for the next year. And what's sad to me is this game's being branded off as if it's been in development for this entire time. They're trying to push reasons why it should be worth your $70. If it was still branded as a DLC, Treyarch could have possibly gotten off scot-free and not have to work on zombies for it. And the whole overarching reason why it is not a DLC anymore is because of Activision's obsession with how much money they can make from as little content as possible. Once this game actually releases, you already know it's going to be worse than Cold War pre-season with the amount of content we're going to be getting. Probably not that bad, but you know. You guys are actually in such a position of power right now because you guys can vote with your wallets whether or not you want this game to actually go down in history as a good COD game or a shit COD game. I'd also highly just recommend waiting until some content creators actually get their hands on the Zombies mode, because that's probably what most of you guys are here for if you're watching this channel. And that's another point, surprisingly. If you're just wanting COD Zombies, do not pre-order this game. There's so many better alternatives to waiting around for MW3 Zombies. There is hours and hours and hours of content that can be had for free with the workshop, with Plutonium, with XLabs. It's not worth your $70 to just wait around. I'm realizing now that I'm getting really good at segues into different segments. What is worth your time though is money, and this is where I'm going to get onto the art of being patient when it comes to video games. Now here's a big shock horror for most of you. These things go on sale, and they do usually go on sale fairly quickly, because with Call of Duty actually releasing in November this year compared to last year's October, it means that Christmas sales are probably going to roll around so fast. It's the best part of like a month that you have to wait, and I can almost guarantee you won't be missing out on much apart from the initial release and the initial hype. If you decide that you want to wait a bit longer than Christmas, that's even better again, because if the numbers of the game are far too low, Activision usually put on a sale to try and increase these player base numbers, and these sales are usually dramatically massive in taking down the game's price, especially with the new $70 price tag. With Call of Duty Vanguard, we saw sales of upwards of 33% just a couple of months after release, so it really depends on how patient you can be before you want to jump in and play this new game. And honestly, this is a method that works tried and true for literally any new release. Waiting around for seasonal seasonal sales is also a good idea, but that can take a long time depending on the game's release. But with this year's Call of Duty, it'll be pretty easy considering that Christmas is like a month away. Being patient also really allows you to think, do I actually really want this game after viewing the gameplay and stuff that you've probably seen covered on YouTube on channels like this, which it will be, and literally any other source of zombies content that you usually watch as well. It's better to gauge your value for money by watching something first than actually getting it and then just have crippling buyer's remorse when you can't refund it. It's genuinely one of the worst feelings, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody, because I had the exact same thing with Call of Duty Vanguard. I pre-ordered that shit and it was the worst game I have ever played in my life. Not to say that I think this game's going to be on the same tier as Vanguard, because I really don't think it will. I honestly think the Zombies is going to appeal to a lot of new fans, but I also think it's upset the majority of the Zombies player base, which is why people are comparing it to the likes of Vanguard, but it's really just not in the same league. Vanguard was just a massive experiment gone wrong. So, to wrap things up, I'm going to give my final thoughts, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing personally when it comes down to buying this game, because I am going to have to buy this game this year. To wrap this up in a nice little bow, what I'd say is hold off buying Modern Warfare 3 until you've at least seen some concrete gameplay that isn't like beta or isn't the teaser that we saw from Activision like I showed in my last video. We need actual gameplay that other people have played. All the YouTubers got given the same style of gameplay. It was the same footage. It's not enough to base everybody's opinion of the game off of just yet, and I believe that when people actually get their hands onto the game, then it should be judged, and then there should be actual opinion and scores given on the game depending on how well it actually plays, instead of just basing it off some Activision employees like fucking brain-rotted gameplay. Now, what am I doing this year? I personally, I'm going to have a look at some of the gameplay when the game releases, and then I'm probably going to end up buying it to try and get some videos out for you guys so you can actually get a better gauge of what the game looks like through me and through other content creators if you so please. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to drop a like on it, and if you'd like to see more content like this, why don't you subscribe? It's completely free, and I'm going to be pumping out more videos about MW3 very, very shortly. There's also like a massive project I've been working on, but you know, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. This is actually going to be a bit of a longer end card because I've got so much shit I need to talk about here. So memberships, you guys should probably take a look into them if you want to have a look at like this massive project I've been working on, because mainly I supply most of my updates on videos that aren't like this on there, because I feel as though giving you guys that little bit extra thing is worth that $1 a month in my opinion. In all honesty, I'd prefer to make videos like that all the time, but I just can't. It's too much of a workload, and actually I feel like delivering this content for you guys that I'm doing now is not only helping people, but it's also leaving an impact on the community in my opinion. But yeah, this big project I've been working on is something I'm like holding cherished to my heart, bro, and I am so excited to drop it for you guys. I'm saying give me like another week and it'll be out. I am so gassed to show you everything. With all that said, once again, thank you for sticking around for the end card. You guys mean so much to me, and leave a comment down below, honestly, if you stay here to the end card, because I want to know. Alright, love you guys. Mwah.